3, 2, 1.
And now, you're tuned into the Navarro-Miller Report, featuring the hottest in news, entertainment, sports, and all those topics for the mainstream audience. The Navarro-Miller Report.
Examine your reality.
Welcome, everyone, to the Navarro-Miller Report. We're back. I'm your host, Dave Navarro, along with this guy right here, who I really don't like.
It's Jeremy Miller here, folks, and, just enjoying that holiday season.
Yeah, the holiday season's gone and passed already. It's gone. It's over. I'm over it. I mean, I sure as hell hope that you're over it, because I'm over it.
Oh, over what? I mean, I can't barely remember what I could possibly be gloating about.
I really, this is the time of day that I really don't, I don't want to talk about it right now. We can get into that in a little bit, okay? I mean,
we'll talk about it in a while. It's okay. It's okay. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. By the way, your name's still the same, and it's it fits.
Folks, it's a term of love. He calls me that out of love.
Is that what that is? I could have sworn it was some other reason why.
It's a pet name. It's okay.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Derek, thanks for joining the stream right now. Yeah, it is about freaking time. Melina says hi. I wanted to welcome everybody back to the Navarro-Miller Report. It's been a few months. Last episode we had was like back in July, I think it was, and we took a little bit of a hiatus.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, I needed a vacation from you. I had to get away from you.
Truthfully, this relationship needs a recharge every so often. It needs a break.
About a recharge.
This made sense. Definitely.
Oh. Yeah, I get that. So yeah, we're back with brand new episodes. We promise we'll try not to leave you for that for not that long again next time. But at least we're here. We're here to give you news. This is the show that gives you all the news and entertainment. We give our opinions on what's going on in the entertainment world. We give our opinions on what's going on in the sports world. We even have some offlandish news that we're going to share here in a little bit. But first, Jeremy, as tradition would have it here on the Navarro-Miller Report, I have a couple of TikTok videos to go ahead and show you, so that way you can get in the swing of things here. Now,
here we go again.
You as a chef, and mind you, the reason why I do this is because Jeremy refuses to get a TikTok to this day. He will not get one. He hates it. He can't stand it. He thinks it's the government. I don't know what it is.
Really, you're setting me up as no, knock it off. I took my tinfoil hat off a long time ago. No, I don't have the time to devote to yet another site. I don't. I can barely keep up with the old people Facebook and the middle ground people Instagram, and now I got to keep up with another one. I got to devote 2 or 3 hours a day to. I don't have time. I'm sorry. I enjoy it, love it. I love the fact that you and my beautiful Joni send me TikToks and show me all that. Why do I need an account? Because I get all the good stuff anyway.
You know what? This is the voice of God.
Get on TikTok.
So there's the voice right there. Okay. The voice of God has spoken.
Wait, but I was raised Mormon and you were raised Catholic, which means, I'm supposed to think you're going to hell, and then you're
no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Oh my goodness, I swear that's great.
I have many fun toys since I've been gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's been preparing for this moment.
Oh yeah. And I miss it. I miss being here. I miss talking to everybody.
I miss talking to everybody. don't miss you, I can't get rid of you. I can't miss you if you won't go away.
You're like seriously an STD I can't get rid of. Like seriously, I've tried ointment, I've tried
the feelings mutual, baby.
Ari Mendoza says, "Hey Jeremy and your wonderful wife Joni, Happy New Year. Besby Super app supports you guys. Peace, Rick aka RA. Melina says you would be awesome with TikTok, Jeremy. I agree. I completely and utterly agree.
Oh, dear Lord.
Tammy Foster says, glad to see you. God bless you. And Pink Lady Devo says, hello. So we got a lot of people on the stream so far. We want to have more people come in here. Please go ahead and tell us what you think of some of the topics that we're talking about here. But for right now, let's go ahead and dive into the TikTok. We got the first TikTok here for you. Now, Jeremy, as a chef, pay attention.
Oh, no.
This is a blind react to a blind react. This person blind reacted to this TikTok, and they used like a little filter, kind of like a face filter, like a cartoon filter. It's hilarious. You got to watch this.
This is how to make your salt at home taste better and give it a little more flavor. So what I do is I just pour a little bit of salt that I have in a big container into this like that, and I just normally measure with my eyes. Not physically, but mentally. And then I take some table salt, and all you're going to do is just put a couple little dashes of it in there like that, not too much. And what this is going to do is when the flavors combine, it's going to give it a really nice zest. It's going to taste great on whatever you put it on. Sometimes I pick up notes of maybe some smokiness, and even it can burn my tongue a little bit. So
please just put it in my mouth so we can burn my eyes.
She was teaching people how to make salt out of salt with salt. But the reaction of the
was brilliant.
She's like, am I high? Is she high? Are we high?
I almost want to ask the same question. Oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. And this honestly reminds me of, I can't use names or otherwise, but I had someone approach me about a cooking show quite a while back. And it was it was basically him trying to give his young hot trophy wife something to do. And no, it was learn to cook, and I was supposed to teach this completely incompetent, and I say that in the nicest way, person to cook. Now I'm not kidding, incompetent. This is not me being mean. She burned down an apartment building, or no, sorry, not apartment building. She burned down her apartment.
Oh, nice.
Boiling water.
Was she trying to make jello?
I had my work cut out for me. And this reminds me of that level of ineptitude.
Idiocy? Stupidity?
I was being ineptitude. That was the nicer word. I had a lot of other words. Trust me.
Oh, I can think of a few. Now, as you mentioned earlier, Jeremy, you were raised Mormon. I was raised Catholic and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This next TikTok video, remember, don't laugh, because God is watching.
Wait a minute. I almost started my day off on a wrong foot.
Don't laugh. You're not supposed to laugh at that. That's wrong.
I can't help it.
You're going
Too
to
good.
hell. You're going to hell.
On the wrong foot.
On the wrong foot.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's a good one. That is one of my favorites recently.
Oh my God. So this next one that I got for you, many men love to go fishing, but after seeing this video, I think a lot of men are really gonna want to try to catch this particular fish. Check it out.
Yeah, come here, bro fish.
Oh my goodness.
throat fish.
Oh my goodness, that is hysterical and terribly frightening. But
He even did the hip thrust as he threw it in there.
holy cow, that was a good one. Wow. Dude, I'm a fisherman, you know that, but
oh my,
that's very disturbing.
People to go fishing. Guys to go fishing.
Unfortunately, I know people who would immediately buy a new pole and just run out to the lake.
No, but his nickname, come here, throat fish. Oh my god!
It reminds me of like something Clavon Little would have said back in the day. You know, Blazing Saddles.
Oh yeah. we won't go.
Come here, throat fish.
And the fish will probably be like,
"Come here, Big Daddy."
It's getting out of control. Anyways, so this last clip that I have, we actually have 4 of you because we want to start off the year off right. So this next clip coming up right here has to do with chivalry. I mean, I know how chivalrous you are with Joni. You open her car door for her, you know, you open doors for her. You're a very chivalrous human being.
I'd get beaten if I didn't.
Why would you say that? I was trying to give you a good compliment, and you went ahead and you should say like, "Well, yes, that's exactly the reason why I do it, because I'm a good guy." Blah 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 blah. But no, you just had to go ahead and ruin it. Okay, fine, you'll get beaten. And I know.
Did you not see what my name says?
I already knew.
I'm living up to it. Thank you.
That's very true. Well, this particular guy took chivalry to the next level, like next level. Check it out. He forgot one door.
Okay, that was funny. It was really good, but I actually have a critique for the first time in my life.
Oh, wow,
it would have been better if she was more girl next door rather than modelish aggressive, and that he was running ahead of her doing it all because he, you know, loved her and wanted to. It would have been more funny at the end with the payoff. It came off because she was so aggressive. She has very, you know, hard features, very model-esque, and he's just running around frantic like he's going to get his butt kicked if he doesn't. Yeah. I think it would have even been funnier if he was doing it from another angle and it came off that way. And the payoff at the end would have been better.
It was just, I mean, that's the first critique that I've ever heard you actually say. That's
of a TikTok. Absolutely. I've never ever, you know, they're always funny, but that one, I think it would have been funnier going that way with it.
God, there's just no pleasing you. Just no pleasing. I can't.
Oh, there was. We'll talk about it in a bit. I was very pleased.
And by the way, I couldn't upload the picture. I tried. So you're going to have to show it on your...
lie. You lie.
I swear.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is lying. He is getting out of this.
It's not me. It's my system. It doesn't like the picture. I'm sorry.
You know, I was only going to post it to my fan page, but now I think it's going to have to go on our Instagram.
Oh. No. It really doesn't have to go there. It's okay. We'll get to that soon enough. All right. I know you're salivating for it. We're not going to get there yet. We're not at that point yet.
Just teasing me. Just teasing.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Starting off everything off here today, Jeremy, you got some offlandish news, and I swear from this point on, this guy is going to be deemed like he's the anti-hero. His name is Florida Man. What's Florida Man up to now?
I love these articles because they actually start with the 2 words, Florida Man does this. And this was one of the newest. Florida man owns largest child porn collection ever seen by authorities.
Wow.
He is facing 1,180 charges,
Jeez.
separate charges of child pornography possession and distribution for sending it out on the internet and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Here's the kicker. You're never going to believe this. This was off of one of his remote storage units. They seized 15.
Wow.
They seized 15.
That's insane.
He has 1,180 charges on one storage device. They haven't even inspected the others yet. Florida man is in rare form. And to all my friends who live in Florida, you guys laugh along with these. I know you do, but we're not talking about you. We're talking about Florida man, and he's a very specific person.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, they literally, the feds, the local police, no one has ever seen anything like this before.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. That's bananas, man.
Yeah.
It's Florida man, though. It's Florida man.
You can't be surprised.
Florida man.
Florida man is the anti-hero of all things.
Jeez. Every time you say that, I'm like, what's Florida man at it again? Why? Florida man?
And sometimes it's fun and it's jovial, and other times it's very sick and twisted like this, and yet still just dumb. There's an underlying level of dumb that just always seems to come along with it.
And it's always in Florida.
Well, where else would Florida man be from?
I swear, people from Florida have been like, we're not all like that. God.
And not saying that. Florida man is a very specific thing now in our zeitgeist. It really is.
In our show and our vocabulary, Florida man is very much like always around. Like that guy.
Always.
I swear, it just reminds me of a comedian that, said something about that in the news, they always used to say, at gunpoint, this person was held up at gunpoint. This person was held up at gunpoint. And they're like, why do people keep on going to this place called Gunpoint? They actually thought the place it was
brilliant.
I mean, it's always Florida man every single time. Well, in other news, you also Texas man actually had a really bad situation going on. What happened to get this guy in Texas?
So we have a man in Texas, and guys, I have heard about this, kind of scam happening all across the country. So, please keep your eyes open. But a man in Texas got done with his workout at Planet Fitness and went outside, and 4 women approached him asking for a ride home with, a bit of a sob story of car broke down, all that kind of stuff. And he gave them a ride home. And when he arrived at the location, one of the girls, or 2 or 3 of the girls, bolted from the car as gunmen approached and attempted to rob him.
Oh, wow.
He floored it, took off. They started firing. He took a wound in the abdomen. And when he stopped, the last woman who was still in the car reached forward, punched him, and grabbed his keys and ran off. So he's expected to live. But, gentlemen, I know men tend to have egos, and especially when you get done with the gym, you got a good pump going, you feel good. If 4 women approach you and it seems like a penthouse scenario, it's not. Okay,
I got my ass kicked the other night by 4 women and 3 men in the gunpoint.
Okay, I mean, I actually know a guy he was the National Poet Laureate of the United States, I believe under Clinton. This huge poet guy who had been a beatnik in the 60s and traveling the country in the back of vans hitchhiking, and 3 women stopped to pick him up, and all insinuating things were going to turn into more. And he hopped in the car, and one of them stabbed him in the leg, in his artery. Ooh. The other one tried to slash his throat. Ooh. He jumped out of the car, and they left him for dead. and he barely survived. So again, guys, I don't care how hot you think you are, you are. When 3, 4, 5 women come approaching you with something that sounds unbelievable or that you should be reading in a fanciful men's magazine, trust me, think again.
I mean, come on, it can't be that bad. Sure, I'll give it a try.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know where he works out. Call me. I want to cut. I want to cut.
I come outside, all of a sudden these hot women. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Oh no, why? Why am I getting beaten? The pain, it's not cool. Oh Lord, that's bad though. That's really bad. Actually, it's funny. It's not funny, but I've actually heard this trend happening a lot in different states where women actually lure a guy, like attractive women lure a guy into an ambush.
It's usually multiple women.
Yeah.
Which of course plays on every guy's fantasy and all the, and they make certain insinuations and so on. And guys tend to be stupid when it comes to that, when they're not thinking with the big head.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. See, that's the reason why I only hang out with you and Joni, because I know I won't get in that much trouble if I hang out with you.
Yeah, because you got her looking out for you, and she's going to stop me from setting you up from anything too awful. So
it's funny. It's almost like we have the relationship of you're Sylvester. Joni is the owner of Sylvester of Tweety Bird, and I'm Tweety Bird. You're always setting me up, man. Come on.
That works. I'll take that analogy.
That
Jeremy.
Oh, dear Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, he has new toys and we're in trouble.
I do. It came at a perfect time. I mean, come on, you got to give it to me just a little bit. Anyways, we got other news to talk about here. Well, this one actually, this actually comes in. We're gonna get to that in a second, but jumping right into entertainment news, we had a terrible passing just yesterday. Actually, Lisa Marie Presley passed away at the age of 54 years old. Now, this is something that was like really just out of nowhere. It was very sudden, and I'm saying sudden because I was actually scrolling through Instagram when I noticed that all of a sudden Lisa Marie gets rushed to the hospital. She's her ex-husband administered CPR. She was actually found by one of her housekeepers. I mean, I don't want it to sound strange, but it was damn near close. She almost died almost the same way her father did, alone. And that is something that is like, that's frightening. That is actually very frightening. I mean, in a sense.
Well, it is and it isn't, in that the truth is, and this may be what's most frightening, is that that's how most people go. We all like to think of it as, we all pass with our family at our side, and the truth is the people who get that are probably pretty lucky. So, being found somewhere, I mean, I'll give you an example, a personal example. My grandmother, when she passed away, was at home with my stepfather, the good one, the one I actually like, was at home with my stepfather, and she had someone with her who tried to save her, who performed CPR, who was there. If she had been living in her home, which we had just moved her out of 3 months before, my grandmother could have been sitting in her chair in front of the TV for a week before she was, found. Not a week. My mom and I both called her every, 2 or 3 days. And if we didn't hear anything for a while, we would have gotten concerned. But again, she lived on her own. She lived in, Central California, in a more remote location. There wasn't a lot of people to check on her, and it would have been that situation for her. She would have passed alone completely, and she wouldn't have been found for a long time. And unfortunately, that's probably the truth for most people when they pass.
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, she was literally just at the Golden Globes. Like, she was at the Golden Globes because she was there to see Austin Butler receive a Golden Globe for for his portrayal of King of Rock and Roll from the Elvis film. She was just there. She was just there, and then in an instant, gone. And it's just crazy to see that could actually that could happen. And so far there haven't been reports as to whether or not she had been sick or anything. I mean, obviously, heart problems run in the family. Her grandfather died of a heart attack. Her father died of a heart attack, and I mean, like my dad, I mean, we have heart disease in our family too. It's genetic, unfortunately. But this is a woman that seemed like she was in good shape, seemed to be healthy. So it's just a shocker that just out of nowhere, she just, she goes into cardiac arrest, and she's young, 54 years old. That's young.
No, it's very young. It's very young. And again, we have many people who've gone in the last month or two who went naturally from fighting different, cancers and battles they were struggling with. It did kind of come out of the blue, and it happens. I mean, look at Alan, who played my dad on the show.
Yep.
I mean, he was the fittest 69-year-old man you've ever met, still out playing hockey multiple times a week, working out, working, one of the most lively, energetic people. I saw him not 3 weeks before he passed away, and he was fine. He was his old self. He was lively. He could have run laps around me, and 3 weeks later he was gone. So,
and it was when he was playing hockey, actually, with his kid.
He never got to play hockey. It was actually when he was putting on his outfit. Apparently just the movement of putting on what he was doing was enough to sever the artery. When you have a aortic dissection, it comes from a weak tissue in the aorta. So the aorta is basically like a fabric. If you picture a woven type of fabric, now picture one of those seams being weak, and you can get a tear. That's what happened to Alan. So he was fine. I mean, he took his son to play hockey. He felt great. He was doing wonderful. He moved the wrong way and was predisposed to have this condition, and something tore. He was gone inside of 3 hours.
And like you said, I mean, like we've had people like Alan. I mean, and just today, we have stuntman Robbie Knievel, son of stuntman Evel Knievel. He passed away today at 60, but he was battling pancreatic cancer.
Yep, and has been for some time. So, again, it's still a loss. It's still a great loss. I loved watching Robbie Knievel try and, carry on his dad's legacy. I was certainly
he did very well for a while.
Oh, he did, absolutely. And I was too young to really know or be enthralled with Evel Knievel, but you heard the stories, and getting to see his son reenact and even do some of the things that his father couldn't was pretty amazing. Robbie Knievel, I've never understood the daredevil lifestyle. I kind of want to stick around, and I mean, I've done some dumb things, but
I mean, I hang out with you, and that's enough daredevil for me. I mean,
really? I haven't even gotten you almost killed yet. You don't get to say that.
No, you're right. Joni has. Actually,
you're on your own on that one.
No. Josh has. Your brother Josh. Oh my God. I was kissing the floor as soon as I got out of the car. I'm like, land. Oh my God. I saw my life flash before my eyes at least 6 times on the way to see you guys. I love you, Josh. If you ever get to watch this,
he can tell, I'm sure.
That scared the hell out of me. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how things happen so quickly, and Lisa Marie, is now with her son, with her father. I mean, hopefully she found the rest. I mean, she got to see a biopic done in honor of her father, and she was very, very happy with it, the way it went down. She got to see, something live, something portraying who her father was, which it was a long time coming. It should have happened a long time ago.
Well,
so
people have tried for a long time to capture Elvis You know, they really have. They haven't done anything focused solely on his life, but his young character, I mean, there's been some TV movies, but nothing major. And his character has been utilized many times. One of my favorite portrayals of Elvis was actually in Walk the Line. And when him and Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis and Waylon Jennings and all those guys were touring together when they were nobodies, and just the personalities on these guys before we got to know them. So people have taken on Elvis many times, but there's never been a major production that has tried to focus solely on who he was. And I mean, I still haven't seen it, I have to admit, but I hear Austin was amazing. I will admit, I'm not. Baz Luhrmann isn't my style. He's a little outlandish in his directing for me. I mean, it doesn't mean I don't like his work.
Unique. He's very unique,
but he's really unique. He's an acquired taste in some ways, and I just wasn't in a rush to see it because it looked like, you know, a typical, you know, thorough, great Baz Luhrmann film, but in his style, which just doesn't quite appeal to me as much. But I really want to see it for Austin's performance and for Priscilla to be able to see that. Sorry, did I say Priscilla?
Yeah, you said Priscilla. I think you meant Lisa Marie.
Yes, I did mean Lisa Marie. That's a very different person.
Different.
But for her to be able to see that and to see a portrayal that really touched her is pretty special.
It really captured her father's essence. Because Austin did a great job capturing her father's essence, like insanely well. But you know, at least you got to see that. What the one that I feel for the most is Priscilla. I mean, she loses her husband and now her only daughter, her only child, really. She didn't have any other kids. You know, to lose your only child, to outlive your child is something a parent never wants. They never want to outlive their children. So this has got to be something that's destroyed her completely.
I can only imagine. I truly can. And it's difficult. To lose a child has got to be the worst thing. I mean, I came close. You know, our middle son was in the hospital and had overdosed years and years ago. And we almost lost him. I mean, he was on, you know, life support and the whole 9 yards. To lose your child is got to be the most devastating thing in the world. I mean, you never think that you will see that happen. You know, you're supposed to go before your children. I mean, it's just the way of the world. You're supposed to, you know, pass on first. And to have, you know, that relationship, to see your kid go, I can't imagine it. I truly can't. I feel very, very deeply for Priscilla. You know, losing, I'll tell you, again, personal story, losing my grandfather, I thought nothing would be harder for my grandma. It devastated her to no end. Losing my uncle destroyed her for years. Totally different thing. She loved my grandfather with all her heart, and she never found another man that she loved like that. But losing her child destroyed her for years. I didn't know if she'd ever come back from it. I really didn't. It's a horrific thing to think about.
I mean, you know, we also like have to think of it this way, that mothers, they have a deep connection with their children. And that's the thing that, you know, because a child is living and growing inside of a mother for 9 months. They're part of that person. So when they are gone, a piece of them goes with them.
Absolutely.
And that's something that, man, I'm not a parent. I don't have any kids that I know So that I claim.
Thank God.
Hey, you would be so lucky to have to know that I would have kids around here. All right, rule the world.
I don't need another one of you. I'm having trouble dealing with you.
Whatever. Anywho, well, our deepest condolences go to the Presley family. Hopefully, they will get through this rough patch. Lisa Marie did have children. Obviously, we know of one of her son that committed suicide in 2020. She is survived by her 3 daughters, twin daughters, and one of her other daughters is actually currently an actress right now. So our condolences go to the Presley family. In other entertainment news, this one right here, I'm giving this one to you here, Jeremy, because and this is the funniest thing. You never give anybody involved with the Kardashians or with anybody involved in that world any clout. But this particular story, I'm surprised. I mean, I wasn't even going to talk about this.
This is not me talking about it because it's Kanye and Kim and all that BS. This is another guy moment, okay? This guy has been trying to replace her, has been losing his mind over the Pete Davidson relationship, has been absolutely showing every tendency of, oh, well, I mean, we know he's batshit. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I'm sorry. He is. But the guy has been obsessed with her ever since she left. I mean, obsessed. You've seen it. His posts. He's constantly fascinated on her, what she's doing, trying to one-up her. As soon as she came out with Pete, he comes out immediately with some model he doesn't give a shit about. And it just was this one-up. Man, guys, go live your life. If a girl leaves you, there's another one waiting, and, probably better for you. So just go on with your life. He's been pathetic. I mean, seriously, I didn't have a lot of respect for him in the first place. I'm sorry, but this is pathetic. He's acting like a simp, and now he's going to marry some, designer in his company who is basically a carbon copy of his former wife.
I honestly, I saw just one small picture of her, and yeah, she does kind of have a similarity to Kim. She has
a lot of a similarity to Kim.
I just only saw one picture, so I haven't seen the rest yet. So I have no idea how much more she looks like Kim. But from what I saw, yeah, she does kind of. I mean, but then again, wasn't he dating some other girl that looked like literally Kim's doppelganger? Like this is like the second chick that he dates that looks like Kim.
This one just has an uncanny resemblance. The other one didn't, but yes. And it's not a good look. I mean, seriously, I know he obviously doesn't give a damn what anybody thinks about him. But it's pathetic. Guys, don't do this. I mean, really, if you ever want to have a chance with a woman who left you, this ain't the way. Believe me, I have experience with this.
Well, I mean, mazel tov, Kanye.
Oh yeah, enjoy.
Actually, it's so funny because on TMZ they were actually talking on TMZ. They did like this little Instagram, I guess, brief, and they said, "Join us today on TMZ when we talk about if Kanye West is going to actually, if this marriage will last until summertime." It's like they're starting to make bets on whether or not this is even going to last that long.
Honestly, I could see a few Las Vegas sports books taking bets on this.
Oh, dude, give me in on that. I'll be a millionaire by the end of the year. That's for damn sure. We'll see what happens with that. In other entertainment news, Ezra Miller pleads guilty to trespassing, faces 1 year of probation and a $500 fine. Now, Ezra, talk about batshit. It seems that he's kind of going in that direction as well. I mean, he's been acting kind of strange lately, and it's sad too because DCU, which we'll get into that in the next segment here, but the DC universe has been going through a major mix up. There's a lot of different things going on, but before that happened, Ezra was already going off his rocker. He was doing a lot of very unorthodox things, acting very strangely. There was even
just unorthodox.
I'm
That's
you were nice before. You were nice before. I'm trying to be nice now.
The man was taking underage people over state lines.
I mean, the guy's nuts. Okay, the guy's got a lot of problems. But what's crazy is that, and no pun intended, but what's crazy, besides Ezra,
you had to go there,
is the fact of the matter that you have The Flash coming out this year. And it promises to be amazing. I saw the previews for it. They just came out with another trailer for it. I mean, you have Batman, your favorite Batman, my favorite Batman, Michael Keaton returns to reprise his role as Batman. And they even bring back the Batmobile from that era. I mean, there's just so many cool things that are happening with the Flash. Why'd you go ahead and screw this up? I mean, come on. I mean, now they're gonna have to recast.
It's dead in the water at this point, as long as he's involved. So,
well, it's still gonna premiere. The movie's still gonna premiere.
No, I don't mean that. I mean anything moving forwards.
Yeah, moving forward. I mean, that's it. I mean, other than that, they're just gonna have to recast it with a different Flash, and that's just gonna be weird. Not many people are doing that anymore, where they're recasting and putting a different face to somebody we're already used to.
Especially not in the same universe. I mean, it does happen, and that's actually just a little side note. I mean, the most recent in this type of franchise would be Terrence Howard being completely recast, and he actually just went off today in an interview talking about how the only reason he didn't, take the job was because they cut his salary to pay Robert Downey more.
I heard something about that too. Yeah, I heard the same exact thing. I don't know. I think his acting may have had something to do with it.
I honestly would disagree. I enjoyed him as Rhodey more than I enjoyed Don Cheadle.
I like Don Cheadle better. Don Cheadle has this attitude. He has this attitude about him.
Don was more fun. I thought Terrence captured the character better.
I don't know. We got some people watching right now. If you guys have any opinions about whether or not you like Terrence or Don, go ahead and let us know right now. I see everybody still chatting it up over here. Real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and check that out real quick. We have some sort of spammer. The guy just spammed the hell out of this. So I want to apologize for that to you guys. We have Pink Lady. She says R.I.P. Lisa Marie Presley. She also said, I love Alan Thicke. Jeremy and him were the best in Growing Pains. Then you also have Donald actually had a question for you. What was your favorite show on Growing Pains, Jeremy? So
my favorite show my favorite show was the Hawaii episode.
Of course it was.
Well, A, we got to go to Hawaii, but B, we got to take our families, and Kirk and Candace and his sisters, Melissa, and his mom and dad and his other sister. Oh my God, I'm blanking. She's going to kill me if she ever sees this. Bridget, Tracy's family, we all brought our siblings and our mom and dad. And I thought it added to the show. We were supposed to be a family on vacation, and we truly were. We were one big family on vacation having fun in Hawaii. And I thought that came through on camera. So not only was it a great show to film, I thought it really was one of our best episodes, acting wise and everything else as well. I just thought top to bottom, it was great.
Well, there you go. In other entertainment news, we have, actually talking about DC Universe, the Batverse is to be developed as separate entities. So it looks like the Batman that stars Robert Pattinson is actually going to be separate from other Batmans, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, it's pretty much already an entity in and of itself. From the way it was filmed, directed, didn't really impress me too much, but whatever.
No.
But this coming from IGN.com, it says, quote, speaking of Collider, Matt Reeves confirmed that the Batverse led by the Batman starring Robert Pattinson would become its own universe separate to the reworks currently happening at DC under its new leadership. Quote, Gunn and Safran have been great, Reeves said. We're actually supposed to meet in the next few weeks because they want to talk to me about the broad plan, and then they want to hear the Batverse plan. We're just getting together to talk about all of that. Look, I'm excited to hear what they're going to do. The Batverse thing, as James has said, and as Peter has said, is kind of its own thing, and they're letting us do it. So it's going to be its own thing, which makes sense. I mean, ever since it's just been a whole craziness going on since James Gunn took over DC. James Gunn has been criticized widely because we have, Man of Steel's gone. You have he's not going to be playing. He's not going to be reprising his role anymore. So far, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck. I mean, you have all those actors that were in DC that are gone. James pretty much said, we're starting this from scratch. We're starting completely over. Which, in a sense, I mean, could it be a good thing? Could it be a bad thing? You obviously think it's a good thing, Jeremy.
Well, I think it could be an advantage. I have not been as enthralled with the DC releases as you have. But that doesn't mean that they weren't enjoyable and that we didn't, that moving on from those characters won't be hard. If they do it right, I think it could still work. Look at what's going on with Marvel at the moment. And I'm saying this kind of in the opposite, is that, they are trying to move away from some of the established characters into newer pieces of the multiverse. And they're introducing new characters. Other characters are leaving. And it doesn't have the same feel and draw and anticipation that it used to. DC has a chance to do that differently. They have an opportunity here to get us excited about the new characters and the new people doing it. I don't think Marvel's captured that. So I think it's a great opportunity for them.
Out of the three, granted, I wasn't too fond of Ben Affleck, but I think Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot did a great job as Superman and Wonder Woman, in my opinion. So for them to be let go, I mean, it could have been, we don't know exactly what happened behind closed doors. We have no idea. Henry Cavill at first said he was going to come back. I mean, I watched Black Adam, and spoiler alert, in case anybody of you haven't seen it yet, at the end of the credits, you see Henry Cavill come in and reprise his role as Superman to face Black Adam and basically tell him, hey, we need to talk, type of thing. So everybody was excited. Oh, he's coming back. He's reprised the role. And then he went ahead and told everybody about a month ago or so, letting everybody, disappointing everybody, saying, hey, nothing was said and still nothing happened. So unfortunately, we have to move forward. It is what it is.
We're getting this over a wide array of movies at the moment. It seems to be one of those generational changes. We're getting a new Bond. We're getting new superheroes. We're getting new, it just seems to be one of those generational shifts that happens every so often. And we'll see if we like what we get.
We'll see what happens. Pink Lady is actually she's chatting right here. She says, I still can't believe that I'm watching the Ben Seaver and the Ben Seaver and able to communicate with him. I'm sorry, you have to. You both rock too. Love your show. Love seeing you both again. Thank you very much, Pink. Appreciate that.
Thank you, girl.
And she also said, speaking of Marvel, will you guys please come to Dragon Con 2023?
I've never had a chance to come to Dragon Con. I've had some of my bookers for those kinds of conventions talk to me about it. It just never worked out yet. So if they're willing to have me and it works out time-wise, I would love to be there. I love getting to come to the conventions, getting to meet our fans, people I've never met before who we touched by doing the show. So I would love to come down and to do Dragon Con, and I'll talk to my guys and see if they can set it up. And maybe I'll drag this guy with me. I don't know. We'll see.
I believe she said, will you guys? Now, okay.
The problem with that is I would have to travel with him and put up with him for like 3 straight days. So I'm not sure I can do that.
Oh hell no, 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 I'm out. No, 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 I'm out. I can't do that 3 days thing. No. Lord. In other in sports, we'll get there. I mean, we'll get there. Okay, we're not there yet. We'll get there soon enough. I
I
know
don't know
you're,
what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
I know you're salivating at this. Okay, but
Perfectly relaxed here.
we'll get there. In sports, obviously, as we all know, over New Year's, Dana White was caught on video getting into a slap boxing little scrimmage with his wife. And he did apologize. There was a lot of alcohol involved. He says there's no excuse, although he was giving us 1.5 million of them. But he says that there's no excuse. He apologized on live TV. He apologized. He went in, he was even in a press conference basically saying that I don't want anybody to defend me. I know what I did was irreprehensible. I have to live with this for the rest of my life. Basically says, quote, there are no excuses. It's something I'm going to have to deal with and live with for the rest of my life. There's no defense for this, and people should not be defending me over this thing, no matter what. All the criticism I have received this week is 100% warranted and will receive in the future. So he's taking the hits, but at the same time, the punishment, where is it exactly? Where's the punishment? I mean, because it's like, oh, I'm hurt. The words, they hurt. That's not good enough. You got to be actually punished, like your fighters, for example, because there have been fighters that have been suspended for, using marijuana, which is a legal drug. And they've been suspended for far less. Like, for example, we have Ramsey Najem that went on Twitter and said, when I was suspended for 9 months for weed, I think the better punishment would have been known as a weed user. That's the punishment commissioners being known as weed user. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Obviously, he was cracking a joke about that. Al La Quinta also went ahead and tweeted and said, when I was suspended from winning bonuses for 3 fights for cursing at the crowd and wrecking a hotel room, I think the better punishment would have been to be known as a crowd cursing hotel wrecker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair that some of these guys are like, dude, this is unfair. How is he skating off with this? And no one's doing anything about this, and they're right.
Well, here's the thing. Who has the power to do anything about it?
There it is.
He is his own boss. He's his own there's nobody above him in that company. There's nobody to tell. I mean, this is a Vince McMahon situation. It is. Look at all the allegations against Vince over the years, and it took 30, 40 years for them to catch up to him. And even then, he's coming back. There was no repercussions, so what is going to happen to Dana White? I mean, really, what's going to happen?
He's the one that's like,
there's nobody to slap. There's no one to slap him on the wrist. The only thing that could happen, the only people who could hold him to account is the advertisers. And MMA makes so much money, they're only looking at their bottom line, so they're not doing anything about it. They're not stepping up. But those are quite literally the only people who could do anything that could punish him or hurt him.
And there was even a women's group that petitioned to have him removed as president of the UFC. Of course, that's not going to happen. So
well, it's a cute gesture. I mean, I'm sorry to be that way. I don't care if it was women or men or whoever. It's a cute gesture. It means absolutely nothing. There's no board of directors above him. It's just a fact. There's no board of directors. He is the top of the entity. So there's no one to fire him. There's no one to get rid of him. That's the case. So you're not going to see any actual punishment. There's no one to hold him to account. And unless this was something that actual legal authorities could get involved with, which it doesn't appear it is, there's no one who can actually stand above him and go, yeah, you're getting punished for this one.
About this for a very long time, but I mean, what are you going to do? He's the boss, and you can't fire the boss.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, that's what a board of directors is for in most other businesses and things like that. It's a group effort, but they can get rid of the guy at the top. That doesn't exist with with Dana White and the UFC.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It doesn't exist, even though there's a board. It doesn't exist with WWE. If
Well, and
Vince hadn't decided to step away, they couldn't have removed him.
Well, and speaking of WWE, it seems that AEW is interested in merging with WWE.
Ugh.
Now, see, here's the interesting thing of what happened. Now, a buddy of mine actually sent me this off of Yahoo.com and says that Vince McMahon reportedly sells WWE to Saudi Arabia PIF. Now, here's the thing that's going on with that right now. What's happening is that he's actually, I think he might have found a loophole on how to get back in by removing WWE from being a public owned company. It's no longer publicly owned. Now it's privately owned. That's how he found his way to get back in to the company, even though like he was removed. So he knows his way is around. So, but even having said that, he still looks like he's still wanting to go ahead and sell and get rid of the product. And right now it seems that the Khans, which is funny because Nick Khan is actually CEO of WWE, and you have Tony Khan, who is the president, CEO, and owner of AEW. And Tony Khan and the Khan family, they actually own the Jacksonville Jaguars. They own the team. They own a lot of things. They own AEW. Now they're thinking about maybe merging with WWE, which could actually make a little sense. They have their product, which is like they're trying to be like the Attitude Era version of the WWE. Meanwhile, the WWE is still struggling, trying to come back to somewhat of the Attitude Era, but for a new generation, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched wrestling in a while because I kind of lost interest in it for a while back. So, but what do you think about this, Jeremy?
I'm not a fan of the merger. Look at what happened with EC Dub when they merged. Look what happened with WCW when they merged. Look at, you lost all of it.
But here's the thing. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. Here's the thing. ECW
you're not
always with WWE.
No, they weren't.
They were. Yeah, they
not
were.
Originally.
They were. No, they were actually for a little bit. They always worked with WWE. Paul Heyman always worked with Vince. That's the reason why you saw Jerry the King Lawler do little cameos on ECW every so often, because they were working behind closed doors. They weren't.
When they first started, EC Dub was completely on its own. When they first started, and Terry Funk helped do their first major special and all that stuff, WWE was not involved. They built that on their own, and their fans hated WWE. Their fans hated that glamorous market and the commercialism of it and everything else. And then they merge, and guess what? It's all WWE now. All those fans don't have anything that they can really get into. They lost their entire product. The fans of AEW are going to lose the same thing. WWE will swallow them up, make them, and you get the same old boring product. It's one of the reasons why I haven't paid attention to wrestling in like 20 years.
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, at this point, WWE is on life support. In my humble opinion, they're on life support right now.
I would agree.
It's not the same that we're used to. So we'll see what happens. Our final story for the day. This is something that Jeremy's been waiting for a while. Oh, look at that. The teleprompter is actually, or the ticker is actually saying something that makes sense. Jeremy, I hate you. As we all know, Jeremy and I have a bet every year that if UCLA, if USC beats UCLA and Notre Dame, then he has to go ahead and sport the UCLA and Notre Dame colors. Well, it's the same case for me. If UCLA and Notre Dame get beaten by USC, I have to endure the humiliation and the ick that is what Jeremy's about to go ahead and post to you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be my favorite photo that Dave and I have ever taken.
I hate you so much.
Look at this beautiful outfit. He's telling me USC is number one. It's such a beautiful photo.
I
And
really
I
hate you.
and I want to thank the UCLA team for putting up such a hard fight. They really did. It was a great game, and they had a shot to win, and UCLA killed it. And I want to thank Notre Dame for being the patsies that they were, that we were able to roll over.
Where's
And
the stage music already? I need someone to hit the get off the stage music already. Look on it.
I had to wait quite a while to get my Christmas present, but ladies and gentlemen, this is my Christmas present, and it made me happier.
Why you gotta do it again?
Taking this picture, my cheeks hurt. I was smiling so hard. I couldn't stop grinning. My cheeks, I had to actually massage them on the way home. Dave, you look so handsome in those colors. You really ought to get on the side of a winner.
I feel so dirty. I still couldn't. I scrubbed. I couldn't get the thing off of me.
The greatness, I know. It's contagious.
Hilarious. That's the news in case you haven't heard it. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this brand new episode of the Navarro-Miller Report. I hope all of you have enjoyed it. We will be here every Monday and Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to go ahead and share with you guys some wackiness, some fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you guys laugh. Hopefully you guys don't, want to hang yourselves after seeing this guy over here, because trust me, every day is a struggle.
Oh, I feel the love.
I'm Dave Navarro, along with this guy right here,
Mr. Jeremy Miller.
So we'll go ahead and definitely see you guys next time right here on the Navarro-Miller Report. And remember, always be safe out there. Be careful. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world. Try to love each other. Try to be nice to each other. We'll see you guys next time on the Navarro-Miller Report.
You have been listening to the Navarro-Miller Report.